Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey everybody, this is Alex Bennett, host of the Ramble, heard here and seen here on GabNet, Tuesday through Fridays, live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and I got some big news for you. Our program has moved its live video from Facebook Live to YouTube Live. After extensive tests in our GabNet laboratories of at least 10 minutes, our mind was made up and we've come to the conclusion that YouTube is superior not only in video quality, but audio as well. And then there's the ease of watching it. Here's what you do. Simply point your browser to youtube.com/Bolo Bennett/live. That's youtube.com/Bolo Bennett, BOLOBENNETT/live, and you're there. The player is waiting, and you do nothing, and when the show begins, so does the player. Couldn't be simpler. In fact, tag that page as a permanent tab on your browser, and you're ready to go. And if all of this is too vexing for you, well, just go to gabnet.net near showtime, and the player in the middle of the page will start to play when we're on. We're thrilled with the new quality our move has provided, and while you're there, would you do me a favor and please subscribe to our channel? No, I beg you to. Hey, listen to me, I'm groveling, okay? I know, it's pathetic. I'm sorry, I'm debasing myself, and I really shouldn't be. Please.
This is an Internet Network news break. IP Pingsley reporting. Our top story, the Great American Broadcast Network, otherwise known as GabNet, is now a TuneIn partner. TuneIn, the world's largest audio network, has joined forces with GabNet, the world's most innovative talk network. GabNet's partnership with TuneIn means that listeners now have 3 main ways to listen to GabNet programming: Gabnet.net, TuneIn.com, and the convenient TuneIn app for smartphones. To participate in the network's innovative citizen panels on GabNet programs, use Skype and type the handle GabNet Live, or call on your phone 347-352-0079. For more information on this network, its programs, and its hosts, log on to gabnet.net. That's gabnet.net. This has been an Internet Network news break. Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GabNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before. Reasons why you tune into GabNet. Here's reason number 9. Great celebrity guests.
So how many years is this now with Teller?
43, and that's 43 continuous. You can try to say Keith Richards and Mick Jagger go longer, but they take 3, 4, 5 years off. Even when they're together, they take the time off. Continuous, no more than 2 weeks working apart, I think.
Wow. And
like being waterboarded for 43 years.
GabNet. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to gabnet.net for more. GabNet. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome. It's time for the Ramble. I'm Alex Bennett, your humble and obedient host, and we'll be here until midnight Eastern Time. Listen, we're going to talk to my ex-wife in a moment, and I just have to explain this was recorded yesterday, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. I had all kinds of problems with my switcher. The switcher is the thing that, runs the video part of the program. And first of all, we had a problem with the fact that she is just completely out of sync, all right? And the other problem I noticed was the first 45 seconds of this interview, she's frozen. So don't ask what's wrong. Just listen to the content of it, and as I say at the end of it, think of it as a badly dubbed foreign language film. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's check in, okay? Okay. First of all, this is Ronnie Bennett. Second of all, she may go out of sync completely because we don't know what's wrong with Skype today, but there's always something wrong with Skype. And lastly, I've got that's not my fault, folks. What happened to you?
You should see the other guy. No, last Thursday I was leaving the building where my chemo clinic is. I had spent the day getting chemo. And you know those rubber mats they put down in buildings when it's been raining outside?
Yeah.
I tripped over one.
Oh, boy.
Leaving the building.
Oh, boy.
And went down and smashed my head, and I have a bad elbow and a bad knee now, and a black eye, as you can see. What's funny, though, is originally I had a big hematoma up here, and what I forgot, this happened to me once before, about 40 years ago. Overnight, blood follows gravity, and so from the hematoma up here, it moved down here. There you are. And I was at the supermarket the other day, and I've been shopping there for years. I know these people, it's a hi, hello, how are the kids, that sort of thing. As I went through the supermarket, not one person mentioned my eye. When I told a friend about it on the phone, he said, "Oh, they just thought you hit the bottle again."
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
So that's going to take a while to get well.
Yep. In case you're just tuning in, she's out of sync, folks. Yes, I have no idea.
I'm out of sync.
We have no idea why, but we'll just live with it. We tried signing on several times with you today, and all of a sudden you would go completely out of sync. So
I don't know anything about how to run Skype. It's up to you.
Yeah, I don't either anymore. I don't know. It's crazy.
Other people do this.
Yeah. So anyway, this was right outside the hospital, did you say?
Just at the door. It's not a hospital. It's a medical building. And just as I was leaving to go through the door to leave to go get my lift ride home, I tripped over that mat and went down really hard on an elbow and knee and my head.
Oh,
and so, by the way, who knew that these places have their own police force? Then the police showed up and it said OHSU police. And then more people came around. There were 10 or 12 people all trying to help me all at once. And they insisted on calling the EMTs, who arrived with all the bells and whistles and sirens and wanted to take me to the emergency room. But by then the pain had gone away and I stood up and I wasn't bleeding anywhere and nothing was broken. But by the way, the next day I was talking to a friend, and a friend of hers, who lives in Manhattan, was bicycling to work as she does every day. Somebody came around the corner in a car 100 miles an hour, banged into her, and she broke both arms. Both. Think about living with two broken arms.
Wow.
You can't.
Wow. You know what happened with my wife was she was walking down the street on Fifth Avenue, and some tourist came along and just pushed her by accident, and she fell to the ground and broke her knee. So she had to go in, have an operation, have screws put in the knee. What was it? 12 weeks of being in a brace and a constant physical therapy. And the doctor says it'll feel better in about a year.
Yeah, that's how long it took me to feel better after my big surgery in 2017. But think about, you can't use either of your arms, not either one.
Yeah.
Think about it. There's absolutely nothing you can do. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, what's the prognosis on that horrible thing on your face going away?
If there's any bruise, it'll go away in a few days,
Now, did you bruise more because of the chemo?
I don't think so. I didn't ask. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I hit my head. There was a big hematoma here. Overnight, it sunk down there, which was a surprise to me. I got up the next morning. I brushed my teeth. I started the coffee. I hadn't looked in a mirror. It was at 30 minutes before I walked past a mirror. I looked at it and I thought, oh, my God, what happened to me?
My hat's off to you. There we go. My hat's off to you because any other woman, because of vanity, would not appear with me today to do this.
Come on, it's just a black eye,
It's just a black eye. Oh, boy. And don't you feel terrible when you fall? Because being older, they all come rushing to you like, can we help you up? Oh, man.
If a little kid fell, I'd go rushing to him, too.
Yeah, I guess. But
it doesn't matter about the age. And I really was surrounded by all kinds of people that all wanted to help.
Yeah.
And after it stops really, really hurting, all you want is to stand up, but nobody wants you to stand up. So anyway, I survived. I got home and this happened, and that's, better than 2 broken arms, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yep. I guess it is. But geez, I mean, come on, So how's your health? How are you doing?
Well, I figured out something. It takes a long time,
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks I have chemo on a Thursday,
mm-hmm.
and then I wear a body pack for a day and a half after that pumps more chemo into me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get a day or two when I feel pretty much okay with very, very minor side effects, not worth talking about. And then the fatigue hits for 2 or 3 days. And during that time, I realize this time I get really depressed. I think, why am I doing this? Let's just stop it. Because I feel you have to nap twice a day for 2 hours for those 2 days. And then this morning, it's as usual, Tuesday morning, I wake up and I feel fine. I mean, if not like I was, before cancer, I certainly feel good. I can get up, I can go places, I can do things. And then I feel fine until, a couple days after the next chemo. So as long as it's down to 3 days, maybe 3.5 days that I don't feel good, out of 14, that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
I can live with that for now.
Yeah. And so what did they? And you got a good report on your last CT scan, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll wait. In 2 months they'll do another one, and we'll see what's happened. But in between, what I am is both from the chemo and the cancer, I operate in general, overall, at half speed nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
That it takes me about twice as long to do everything I used to do, a lot faster. One friend here in Oregon said, "Oh, Ronnie, you just finally slowed down to Oregon speed from New York." So I have to learn to live with that,
mm-hmm.
and then I have to stop and rest sometime when, you're changing the bed maybe halfway through. I have to stop and rest. That seems to take a lot of energy these days, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people tell me I should get somebody to clean house for me. It's very expensive here compared to where I've lived before. And so far I can do it. It just takes me longer, so it's okay.
Yeah. How much does it cost to get your house cleaned? Is a cleaning woman to come in?
I don't remember. I checked on it a few months ago, and it was higher than I wanted to pay.
Because every 2 weeks we pay a woman, I think it's $120, $140 to come in and clean, which I don't consider unreasonable, mainly because I don't consider it unreasonable because when somebody's cleaning up my mess, I feel they should be compensated well for it,
Okay. All right.
I've always felt uncomfortable about somebody cleaning up my house, actually. Always felt very uncomfortable about that. The only reason we have a cleaning woman in here every 2 weeks is because Marjorie was used to that. So that's why we do it. Otherwise, I just clean the house myself,
We do what we do best as we can. I think you get older, even if you don't have cancer. I think just getting older slows you down.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, I lose 2 full days a month just being at the cancer clinic all day. Then I lose those 3 or 4 days twice a month when I don't feel good after the chemo. And other than that, I'm slow. So it's okay. It's what it is. I think that getting cancer. It's a crapshoot. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah.
It is what is, and I've chosen to deal with it this way with this chemo for now. That will change whenever I feel I need to change that or stop it. Right now, it's just, I've come to see it. I think I haven't thought this through completely, so this is an unformed thought, if you will. But I think that as long as you're lucky enough to be in my condition, which is, except for the chemo side effects for a few days, I feel fine. I don't have any cancer effects, and I've had no pain. I'm knocking wood while I say that. And I think that having a disease, whether it's terminal like mine or a chronic disease that many people have in old age, it comes with the territory. It's part of living. Fold it into your life and move on. Do the best with the things that you can do and enjoy them.
Yeah.
So that's about where I am these days.
So
subject to change over time.
Okay. Well, we always want that update. And by the way, if you've just joined us, number one, she's out of sync. Don't worry about that. That's just Skype fucking up. And the black eye is because she slipped and fell, and that was it, plain and simple,
Yes, but it's a better story if somebody hit me and I hit him back, isn't it?
It happened at a hospital, so did doctors rush out to help you?
Hospital, at a medical center building.
Medical center. Okay, so did doctors come out to help you?
No, they don't, by the way. No, they don't.
Oh, geez.
It's all EMT. There are only several hundred doctors in that building, but they're busy doing other things. So the EMTs come and take you to a hospital.
But you would think also the facility would care about legal action, so they would want to make sure you were taken care of well.
Well, the police assigned to that place were there, and everybody was very helpful and very nice. They checked my eyes, the EMTs, that they're focusing properly, and we made sure that there were no broken bones and I wasn't bleeding anywhere. And there you go.
I'll tell you what happened. I fell on Broadway a couple of weeks ago. Took a real buster, as they call it, and I fell down, and all of a sudden people come running over to me. Oh, let's help you. It's like the old man fell. Okay, I felt like they were all looking at me like I was the old guy.
I think if a little kid fell, people would rush over just as fast. It's not about being an old man, it's about falling.
Okay, but let's say a 20-year-old.
Yeah, people are going to rush over to that too.
I don't think so.
Anybody who falls, people go help.
Well, all I know is I felt embarrassed,
Well, so did I. I mean, you just, when you're not on your feet, and when you fall down, you just feel foolish, Yeah. Even if you couldn't help it.
Yeah. So anyway, what are your readers to your blog talking about these days? Is there some predominant discussion that's important to them?
They talk about whatever I write about. and they're very good at it. I mean, I have great readers and very thoughtful people and funny people, if that's called for. So it depends. The more, excuse me, that's part of this whole thing too.
Yeah.
So if I'm writing about, the other day I wrote about being a professional patient. And of course, the old people who read my blog, they have a lot of experience with that too. So they plugged in a lot of information from their half. The thing that seems to be universal about being a professional patient is we all despise counting out our pills into those little plastic boxes.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. You know, and I've been thinking, why doesn't somebody invent something where, like, you throw all your pills into it, or you throw them in one at a time, and then it just dispenses them to the little things?
Oh, they have that. You can buy them now. It costs more, of course, and it comes, let's say a month's supply in a box. But your morning and your evening and maybe noon, if you have them, come in a little packet.
Oh, yeah.
Count it out for you.
Yeah, they do that for you, but I'm talking about a device. Right? Because right now we have to take these pill boxes, or just you have 30 days there, and then you put one of each in
30 days? Mine has 7.
Really? I have the 30-day one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. They're more expensive than the 7-day ones. And I put one pill in each one, and then I do the next pill, and I do the next pill, and I do the next pill, and then I'm through. I close all the little lids, and I've got a month's worth done. But it would be so much nicer if all I had to do was like pour 30 pills into a funnel, and it just boom, 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 and then the next one, boom, 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 boom. And I'm trying to think of, if any of you out there are inventors, here's the idea, okay? Run with it.
But it already comes from your pharmacy in the little packets,
Yeah, they do.
And people always recommend that to me. But first of all, it's more expensive. Drugs are expensive enough. And I can still count. I haven't lost that faculty yet. And it's just annoying. It's not like it's a big deal. It's annoying. And because how fast time goes when you get old, I usually do it on Saturday, and then next thing I know, I'm doing it again, and it feels like I did it yesterday. Like a week didn't go by.
Right. Ugh. Yeah. So, but I mean, the fact is that, for instance, I have, through my union plan, a drug plan that sells me 90 days worth at a time. You have to buy 90 days worth at a time. It's much cheaper, by the way. In fact, I'm paying as much for 3 months as I used to pay for 1 month. Okay, but anyway. So I get.
Stop a minute. Is this some old people's conversation?
Absolutely, and fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them if they don't want us talking old people talk. So anyway, I get 3 months worth. Okay, and I'm just up to my ass in these pill bottles. Of 30 pills each in the bottles. And it's like it's huge. I take home this big valise full of pills every month. Every 3 months. So
I have big pill bottles, the brown pill bottles.
Oh yeah.
When I buy more than 1 month's worth, they give me a much bigger bottle. I never saw such big pill bottles before.
Yeah. But anyway, so I mean, what happened was they put us on this thing with, I can't remember the name of the company now, where you have to order 3 months at a time, which is fine. I thought it was going to cost 3 times as much, and it only costs the same as it was costing me before for 1 month. So I'm happy.
I would whisper that if I were you.
What?
I would whisper that piece of knowledge if I were you. Don't let anybody know.
What do you mean?
Companies will raise the prices if you do.
No, what happens is there are quite a few plans like this that people have where they can subscribe to 3 months, and they do cut down on the price.
Whisper this. Don't give them any ideas.
What used to amaze me was I used to take not an antidepressant, it was a mood elevator or whatever, called Zoloft. And it used to cost me X number of dollars for the 5 milligrams or something. I'm just throwing out a number here. I don't remember what the number was.
It was a pill. Let it go at that.
And my doctor said, well, let me prescribe the 10s for you. And I said, why? He said, because they don't cost any more than the 5s, and then you can break them in half and get the daily dosage.
Half as many as
yeah. And that was the thing I could never understand. If you go and let's say you're supposed to get 5 grams or something, and instead you buy the 20 grams or something, the price either isn't that much more or is exactly the same. That's the one I could never figure out.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
That and my great Hertz mystery, which is why is it if I want to rent a car for 3 days, does it cost me $700? But if I want to rent it for a week, it's only $325.
And hey, your answer is right there. Go for the week.
Well, yeah, but then what do I do with the car for a week? I don't want to park it in New York City. You kidding me? You know. So I just got to figure out if I need 3 days, I should just take a week and go somewhere for a week. You know.
Yes.
But that doesn't make sense. Didn't used to make sense that when you flew across the this doesn't hold true anymore, but you used to fly across the United States and you were going to just stay on the other end. Like I was moving there, I had to buy a round trip ticket because it was cheaper than buying a one-way ticket. These are the mysteries of life that
I've given up on those kinds of mysteries of life in my condition.
Yeah.
I just go with the flow now.
Yeah. But so they say at least your cancer is slowing down, and that's good.
That's what the chemo is supposed to do, is slow the growth.
Yeah.
And that's what the last CT scan showed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we are. And in another, I don't know, I think it's 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, they'll do the next scan, and we'll see if it's still doing what it's supposed to do.
Now, I imagine your readers are to her blog, which is timegoesby.net, are probably very concerned about about Medicare and about health plans and things like that, because when you get to be at our age, you sit down at dinner with a bunch of older people now, and you sit at the table. How you doing? Well, I went to the doctor, I've got blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then it eventually gets to how much are you paying for your medical care? You've got Medicare, but you got that other dreaded 20% that Medicare doesn't pay for.
Yes, but most people buy a supplemental policy to cover that.
Yeah, but the supplemental policies are not cheap.
Cheaper than what it's cost to treat me for the last 18 months.
Well, that's true. They lost the bet with you.
Yes, they did.
Because that's all it is. It's a bet on the part of the medical.
People hardly ever use until now. I hardly ever used my medical coverage. I was healthy.
Yeah.
All my life.
Yeah. So.
But I'm making up for it now.
Yeah.
And I have to, whenever we talk about this, I have to talk about the people who treat me, from, the surgeons on down to the people who say hi and check you in when you arrive for an appointment. Is that where I go at OHSU, every person there is smart, caring, concerned, good at their jobs, just fantastic people.
Yeah.
As I've said over and over and over again, as far as I can tell, not one of them ever has a bad day. Now, we know that's not true. Everybody has a bad day, but they never show the patience.
Yeah.
And they're just amazing people. And I think they're different. People who are caregivers are different from you and me. And they're amazing people.
Caregiving is a skill,
I think it's more than that. I think it involves a lot of empathy.
Well, that's part of the skill. I mean,
Well, I don't think you learn empathy like that in the same way you learn how to do put a bandage on.
Well, from the get-go, I think you have to be a very special kind of person to want to go into that line of work, because it's a constant case of depression. I mean, when you.
But it's not. It's not. I've talked to some of the people, the nurses and other people about this, and they get a great deal of pleasure out of helping us.
Yeah.
It's
but I'm saying it takes a special. Let me put it this way: could you do it? I couldn't.
No.
And it's not to say I don't have empathy, but I think that if I were dealing every day with people who were dying, I think I would have a hard time dealing with that. But that's me.
You don't become friends with these people, but you become friendly. And you get to know them. You might know about their kids. You talk about books you read while they're doing whatever they have to do that day with you. And so it's more than just, some anonymous person putting a bandage on your finger. It's much more than that. And they remember your name, and you joke around, and it's almost, although you're not there every day, it's almost like people you work with at your job, is that they become that kind of friend. And it must be difficult. They don't talk about it. I've never asked either.
Yeah.
But you're right. It must be difficult.
It's very special. Very special. Hey, well, listen, we've run out of time, and I just want to tell everybody, if you minded the fact that Ronnie was out of sync today, just think of this as a badly dubbed foreign film. Okay. Hey, take care, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, okay? And hope that we get you in better sync.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie Bennett.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is Gabby, the Great American Broadcast Network.
And I don't even know what happened at the end there. It just, that was because I have this thing that switches the program, and then when I'm doing her, it records her, and they upgraded the program, and it was all fucked up. Everything I was doing was fucked up. But now I've got it all tuned up, and we should be doing okay, and it's not eating up a lot of resources and all of that, so I guess we'll just hope that it's going to be okay. All right, let me see here. Let me open up the Skype lines. That takes a little bit of doing here. Well, it takes a couple of mouse moves, and the lines are now open. Yes, they are open. So if you want to call, here we are, folks, ready and ready to talk to you about all the things that you might want to talk about. Big day today, news-wise, I guess. And that it was great because President Trump was upstaged by Michael Cohen. Here he is in South Korea, and hardly anybody is reporting about it. Here comes Richard Johnson is our first caller tonight. And Richard, oops, wait a minute. What? Why did that call?
I'm here.
Yeah, I know. Okay, you're fine.
Okay.
What? Why is this? Why is this? Wait a minute. Somebody's trying to call me, called Esther Curtis, but you're calling me on the wrong line, Esther. Just hold on a second, folks.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Yeah.
Listen
to this.
On. Yeah.
And there's no way for me to hang up on it either. What she's doing is calling my other line, which is it's not even. I'm not even online with it. Damn it! And you're waking up my wife too. Now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Esther, go away. Just go away. I don't want to talk to you. Okay? Oh, boy. See, and what's happening is my wife is trying to sleep in the other room, and it also goes off on all our echoes. And so she probably is wondering what was going on there,
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, let me see here. Let me go over to our citizen panel. There they are already. Richard is in Copenhagen or near Copenhagen.
He's in Oslo.
He's near Oslo. He's somewhere. He's in
near Scandinavia.
You know what happened? The other night when you were trying to call in, I said, "Oh, that's the guy from Thailand." And you. And Alex said, "Oh no, he's the guy from Copenhagen."
I heard.
So you're in Copenhagen now.
Whether you like it or not, you're in Copenhagen.
Yeah. But Phil, you're right. So.
Yeah, but now you had a lot of trouble getting in, and
I know. Yeah.
You had a lot of trouble getting in, and now you don't have any trouble getting in.
Oh no, you see, I just double-clicked the Skype logo on my voice is a little. I have a slight cold, so it's a little. I
have an accent too.
Huh?
Yeah.
I have an accent too. Yeah.
No, Phil, we have the accent.
Well, it depends on your perspective.
What I did actually, anyway, I double click on the logo.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't I done before, but nothing seemed to happen. But all of a sudden, I got this menu and Gabnet, and when it was green, it was on, and I was actually talking to. I could see all the shows when they were on. There was a message.
Mm-hmm.
I could call. I could choose between, video call or audio call.
Yeah. So you clicked on the page, on the Gabnet page.
No. First, I clicked on the double on the Skype logo.
Mm-hmm.
On my computer, on another computer.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But it's a PC, but it's the same logo.
In any event, you managed to get through, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
And tonight it seems so far everything is working okay, except for Damien, who tried to get on tonight because he started up his machine, and the thing he uses to hook up to the server wasn't taking his audio feed or something, and it was just he was having all kinds of trouble. So who knows if he's on tomorrow night? But we'll hope and pray. Because we miss him. We miss you, Damien. If you're listening, we miss you.
Actually, Damien, is that the guy that's after the sports show?
No. After the sports show. Yeah, Damien.
Or Alex.
Because I was actually calling the sports show today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
because this menu, this double click, like 15 minutes before they went on, I got like, this and this show will be on in like so and so. And I didn't know what this show was all about, so I wrote them. And they said it's a sports show, and since I'm an old football player, I called.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you play football or do you play soccer?
Soccer.
It's football, Phil.
Soccer.
I don't want to be rude, Richard, but I want to ask you a question because I have to ask this question.
All right.
I don't have any tattoos on me.
Okay.
And so I always wondered. My wife, by the way, does have a tattoo on her ankle, and it has the name Buddy.
Okay.
And I kept saying to her, "Didn't you ever think that someday you were going to marry a guy named Alex?"
Yeah.
And that you're going. And she says, "Oh, I like having that there."
But who's Buddy?
I have no idea who Buddy is, and I'm afraid to ask.
But Buddy is like Buddy is a friend or something.
Well, I'm her buddy, so what the hell.
So are you considering any tattoos?
Oh no. Number one, I'm Jewish, and I want to be buried in a Jewish cemetery. You can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery if you have tattoos.
I actually Muslims, some Muslims. I don't know if it goes for all of them, but I was out in and buying some food in a kitchen at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy there, obviously a Muslim, also an Arab.
Yeah.
Arabic guy. And he saw my tattoos, and he said, he asked me why I did it, and and he said, I can't. I said, it's kind of addictive, and but I started. I started out many years ago, and I told him about it. So, and he said, I'm a Muslim. I'm not allowed to take tattoos.
Yeah.
So I said, every Muslims, and he wouldn't answer that. But
Did the one on your throat hurt? When you got the one on your throat, right on your Adam's apple, did that one hurt?
No.
The compass stuff?
I took it in St. Petersburg. No, it didn't hurt at all, actually, because the tattoo artist, he went so smoothly. He didn't go like, But what hurts, it's like the chest and the sides here, the ribs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, like I think the real commitment to tattoos is the fact that you put one on your face.
I have on your face.
Yeah, I know, but you put one on your face, and that's real commitment.
I have on both sides.
Because you can't cover that up, you know.
Oh yes, you can.
How can you cover it up?
I guess.
Oh, you can cover everything up.
Oh really? How?
Oh, no.
With what? Yeah. Makeup or?
No, another tattoo.
Another tattoo, but it have to be on your face.
Yeah. I thought you meant cover. There's something called cover-up tattoos. I thought you meant if I didn't like him anymore, I could take another tattoo. Do you mean makeup?
Yeah.
You can't cover up with makeup.
You can cover it up with makeup.
No, I haven't tried it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But if you let's say you wanted to get rid of that tattoo, how do you get rid of it?
Laser.
Laser? And that's very expensive, though, isn't it?
It's about the same price as a tattoo, but I know, I'm kind of, I haven't paid as much for my tattoos as a normal guy.
Yeah.
Because I've been in the tattoo community and conventions, and I have friends, and we like that. If we are at parties, we will go like, hey, let's tattoo a little bit, and I will go.
Okay, now let me just ask you this. Let me ask you this. What is it about tattooing, about getting tattoos, that you find addictive?
It's addictive. First of all, I started out with one tattoo. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I was.
What was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo was. Yeah. Do you, wait a minute.
Okay.
I can't stand up.
You have what's called a sleeve there.
Do you see the star there?
Yeah, that was it.
That was my first tattoo. That star.
Yeah.
No, not nothing around. Only the star and a banner underneath.
But now you've turned it into an entire sleeve.
No. Only a half sleeve.
Oh, okay. Because on warm days you like to feel cool, right? So.
Huh?
On warm days you like to feel cool.
It's a tribute to my style. There's different style. My style is old school. What they call old school.
Well, I had a guy I knew in New York who was probably one of the world's most famous tattoo artists, Spider Webb.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
I know that.
And Spider, he could only do it in outside of New York, up in Yonkers, because New York City for years would not allow tattoo parlors.
All the way out of Yonkers?
Yeah.
Well, that's not that far. It's just above the
Yeah, but he had to do it out of town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I went over once, and we actually shot him for the show I was doing, Midnight Blue, tattooing a guy's penis. Okay. And I thought that had to be the most painful thing I had ever seen.
Do you know?
There was a penis tattoo picture circulating in the web.
Wait a minute. Richard's trying to say something here.
Yeah. Do you know what he tattooed on his penis?
I don't know. Maybe another penis. I don't know. I have no idea. If I had a tattoo put on my penis, I would have it just say "World's Greatest" or just "Penis" would be nice. Just
The stupidest. I've seen some penis tattoos throughout the years.
I'll tell you, the first person I ever knew that had a major tattoo was this woman who had across her pubic region, just pubic line.
Insert here.
No. Picasso's signature.
Like over here?
Yeah, it was Picasso's signature. She says, I have the only vagina signed by Picasso.
The Picasso.
Yeah. But
I've seen, I got the two most ridiculous penis tattoos I ever seen. I think one of them was one guy he tattooed Armani, the logo, the Armani logo.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Armani.
Yeah.
Expensive dick or something. I don't know. And the most stupid one. That's not that long ago. He had tattooed the Superman logo
on his penis.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things you could put on your penis if you wanted to, but Superman logo. I would want. You know what I would want is something that was one thing when I was flaccid, and when I had an erection, became something else.
Health belts?
No. In other words, when I'm flaccid, it would be a certain, tattoo, and then when I had an erection, it would stretch and turn into something else.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I would do that.
That would be cool. Well, gee, I finally found a tattoo I might want if I could still get an erection.
So ask me what I have. Ask me what kind of tattoo I have on my penis, though.
Oh, do you have a tattoo on your penis? Do you?
Everybody asks me that, but I usually say no.
Wait a minute, you usually say no.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have a tattoo on your penis, and sometimes you don't.
No, the closest thing. No, I don't. But I have on my ass. On my ass.
What is that tattoo?
I have two eyes like Alice Cooper eyes, made up with those lines above it.
Yeah.
And I made it in Thailand this time, when I call you in Thailand. When the heat in Thailand does that the tattoo grows faster than normally in Norway, for example.
Yeah.
In Norway, they recommend like 2 to 3 weeks, and then before you take another one, if you want another one.
Yeah.
But I have a record like 15 tattoos in a week.
Jeez almighty.
Yeah, because when I'm in Bangkok, I'm like doing my my regular routines or whatever. And then if I'm bored, I go to the tattoo studio.
Yeah. So I mean, are you married or are you single?
No, I'm not single. I'm not married. I'm living with a girl, and we've been living together for 14 years.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to ask you how she likes that, but
she's born in Thailand. That's why I'm in Thailand 3-4 months a year.
Oh, I see. Okay. And what does she think? What does she think of the tattoos? That's her.
Yeah.
Go a little closer. Helps. Show that again, and go closer to the camera so people can see that.
That helps.
There we go. See? Yeah, there she is.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Wow. Well, now you see that's commitment.
Yep.
It's on the right side because I didn't have place on the heart side. If I had, I would take it above my heart.
Nice. Oh, isn't that sweet? That's commitment and being sweet at the same time.
We are a very happy couple.
Wow.
How many? And she does not. She's not a tattoo fan or anything, but she says it's my do what you want, but I don't think she would like a penis tattoo, for example. I won't do that.
Yeah.
But except from or in my face, a lot of.
You just have a little bit here that you want.
But that's because this means something. These two.
What do they mean?
Well, everything means something.
Yeah.
But that's a long story,
Yeah.
It's my. I used to be a football player, and after that, I was into.
Now, when you say football, do you mean
soccer?
Okay, that's what I figured.
But I got injured.
Yeah.
So I had to train alternative. So I start training weights, and then a guy started getting me into boxing. So I fought some matches and I lost and I learned, and I fought. That's my 2 knockouts, 1 diamond.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I have 3, also 3. You can see 3 dots there.
Yeah.
And I have 3 dots. Wait a minute. Let's see. Can you? Yeah. That's, yeah. Each dot is when you cross the equator, you get 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And when you get around Cape Good Hope, that's 1. And then if you cross the equator, if you had to cross the equator twice, you get 2 more.
I just get my passport stamp.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But
it's good enough for me.
But I was on the boat.
Well, all I can think of is Lydia, have you seen Lydia? Lydia, the tattooed lady.
Well, he said he was on a boat. I noticed that, you've got the anchor and you've got the compass star.
God damn it! You are just inked to it. You are all inked up.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.
You don't go for little stuff either.
Good work.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have one particular artist you use?
I used to have 2.
Yeah.
But then I moved, and but I met and he had a couple of guest artists. So I got to meet a Bolivian guy. So he he's done a lot, but after that, I started tattooing in 2004 or 3. But after 2006-7, I went on a boat, and then all that's traveling, and then after that I had I had a tattoo artist in every.
Were you on a tall ship? Is that that kind of ship? Was that the kind of ship?
Yes.
Is that do they call those tall ships or?
They call it tall ships. Yeah.
How old are you, Richard?
40.
Because you've lived a lot of life for 40.
Yeah, 4 years.
I can tell you a lot of crazy stories that that you won't believe.
Yeah. Wow.
About when I was 26, I was feeling like 50.
Okay. Well.
And that includes I can say one thing. I don't know about you guys, but doesn't every guy or a boy, when you're like 16, 17, dream of having sex with two girls at a time?
Two women at a time?
Yeah, 2 women at a time.
Yeah.
My debut was with 2, and then at the same night 3 more.
That was your first time?
The only way you could do that is be 16.
The only time I had 2 at a time that I remember.
I have to tell the age of the women.
Yeah.
Because I was 16.
Yeah.
And they were like 32, 33.
Wow. That's a reasonable age difference.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the only time I think, only once did I actually have 2 women at the same time, and they were both sisters.
Oh really?
Oh wow, that's the key.
Oh really?
Yeah. And I still remember to this day that the one thing I noticed that was similar about them is they both had the same looking vagina.
Looking vagina?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Their vaginas seem very similar.
Quaaludes helped with that.
Good for you. Good for you, Alex.
Same genes.
Okay. What about swingers? Have you done that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with Alex's Midnight Blue show?
Yeah, I am a little bit. Gang bang.
Oh, what do you mean a gang bang?
Like
you were at Plato's Retreat, weren't you?
I mean a community that gets together and have a gang
orgy.
Bang.
You mean?
Yeah, orgy.
Well, a gang bang would indicate one person having sex with many people.
Yeah, I mean like an orgy.
An orgy. Oh well, I used to go to places like Plato's Retreat and places like that. Yeah, I although I always found orgies difficult for me because I preferred to go to an orgy and then take a woman over into the corner by ourselves.
Okay.
I didn't want to, I didn't want to have sex and have somebody's toe up my nose.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
what about gay sex?
Huh?
Gay sex.
Well, once at one of these orgies, I was having some stuff with a woman, and somebody else was blowing me. Yeah. And when I looked down, it was a guy. It was a guy.
Like just only that?
No, it was a guy. He was blowing me. But it was a guy, and I didn't know it was a guy, but it felt good. And when I looked down, it was a guy, and I went, well, it feels good, so should I suddenly be repulsed by the fact that it's a guy or thankful that somebody's blowing me? I mean, so...
I actually got paid. I was injured as a soccer player and the boxing, and after that I took a degree in hotel business.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked as a barkeeper and a waiter.
Oh.
So I was working as a waiter in a major hotel in this city, and the guy in the bar, he was gay. The bar was right next, close to the. You went out of the restaurant into the bar, right?
Yeah.
And me and him, we had sex, and after that, he told the whole gay community in the city, or a lot of them, about me, and that I was amazing. And I didn't know that. So I once closed the restaurant. I came. Just one moment. My girl is saying something. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
What's she saying?
To take out the garbage.
Yeah.
Or do the dishes.
Yeah. I closed the restaurant. I went to the bar to have a beer, to relax, and I took a sip of the beer and put it down. And I just sat there, and 1 minute later, I heard a voice. Excuse me, are you Richard? I said, yes, I am. And he just he had a rather big abnormal dick, because what he did, he just moved his leg apart so I could see his left leg, and alongside his left leg was a big fucking thing, He said, how much? And I said, I was thinking a little bit, and the bartender just did that to me, blinked his eye, and I said, and he said, of course, everything included, drinks, food, everything you want is on my room. I'm a salesman, I'm a traveler, and it's no problem. I have money. Okay, I said 7,000, and I stayed with you.
7,000 what?
Norwegian $700. $700.
Oh, $700 in our money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or and then I would spend the night with him. I would sleep with him or over. I would sleep over at.
So you did it.
I did it, and then after that, several guys it came. So I did it for about I did it at least for a year, and it was like, I mean, I earned a lot of extra money on it.
But now my question is, were you bisexual, or did you just say, hey, there's money in this, I don't mind it, I'll do it?
I thought I was bisexual at the moment, at that time.
Yeah.
Because I didn't mind. I didn't feel.
Yeah,
I felt some kind of pleasure.
I actually turned a trick once. I had a woman I knew who worked in they used to have these apartments where they would advertise in the paper and whatever, and people would come over and have sex at these places with the women. Okay, and I knew one of the women there, and she said to me, would you like to do me a favor? I said, what? She says, I have this guy who comes to see me all the time, and he's bringing his wife to New York, and he wants to allow his wife to have the experience that I have when he comes to New York. Would you like to couple up with me and turn a trick with this couple? And now I had never been put in that position, and I figured this has got to be interesting, because and so I said yes. And I was very happy with my performance, but the one thing I noticed was, to begin with, it was an entirely different kind of sex, because at no point was it important for me to get pleasure. It was important for me to give them pleasure.
Yeah, sure.
And give the woman pleasure. And but I think I performed admirably, and that's the only time I was.
Did you frame that first $5 bill?
Yeah, right. No, actually, I think I got $100. I got half of what she got. I got $100. That was the only time I ever turned a trick. Can
I tell another one?
Yeah, quickly, and then let's get to some other stuff here.
Okay. I'm telling you all the stories I told you now is the nicest ones. The cleanest ones. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get in a situation that you were afraid or were in fear of being hurt?
Not really, but I was a few times with a female prostitute and me. Mm-hmm. She asked me to because there was a guy that enjoyed looking at us.
A voyeur.
And I was also changing outfits from leather to different kind of things. Mm-hmm. But I never felt. Maybe I was lucky. I never felt any. I was never afraid. But I was working after that. I was working in a bar, and it happened to me 3 times, but I'm only going to tell you about the one time.
Yeah.
And it was a woman, and she sat by the bar. This was a bar who had like regular customers, regular guests.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Saturday, and then usually we had a lot of other people too. So this girl, a woman, she was like, she didn't say her age, but I would say 50 or something.
Mm-hmm.
50 more, maybe a little bit more. And I was a barkeeper, and I served her, and she drank beer after beer, and after the third beer, she'll smile a little bit. And I didn't get any sense that she was out or something. But all of a sudden, I was out having a cigarette. We were two barkeepers. Anyway, it ended. She was getting drunk, and I was closing the bar, and she refused to leave the bar before I was having sex with her first, and then she will leave. If not, she locked herself like that to a table. So
you think there's nothing to do on those snow days in Norway.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This was summertime.
Yeah,
it's always a snow day in Norway, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
okay. Thank you, Alex, for sharing. This story.
Well, thank you for sharing, and you can show some more tattoos later.
My pleasure.
So anyway, let me see here. Where do we begin? I wish we had more people right now because we could sure use the.
Just a little thing. Sorry, when I cough, can you hear? Is it?
Yeah, I can hear. We can hear you cough, but it's not terrible. So
because I have a cold, I can mute if you want.
If you want to mute when you got a cough, do it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
Good. I'm not coughing.
You don't have any exciting stories like Richard had to tell.
No, nothing that crazy.
I've had some pretty weird stuff in my time, but I had a cuckold once, which was kind of interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. But anyway, where were we?
Changing the subject.
Changing the subject. Well, I hate to get into the subject of politics because really it's just the four of us, and I would love more people who could join in on that. So if you're out there and you want to call and be part of it, please give us a call.
I'll make it easy. You know my position. What's the next?
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. And well, thank you, and good night, everybody. I thought it was interesting to see how Michael Cohen stole the limelight from Donald Trump today, in that the press wasn't covering.
You mean the pot that called the kettle black?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet you've been waiting all day to say that. Boy, I got a bad stomach tonight. I've been eating this chocolate, and it's the chocolate with artificial sweetener, and it gives me.
Is it that carob stuff?
It gives me the trots. I shouldn't do it anymore. I'm going to stop doing it because then I go on the air here, and I feel like I have to.
Isn't that kind of eating a lot of artificial things like that? Isn't that kind of bad for you?
I'm 79 years old, Richard.
No, I mean for everybody.
I really don't think anything's bad for me about now.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
If anything, it might hasten the inevitability, but that's about it. Anyway, our president today was in Vietnam. And I liked your line last night, Phil. He finally got to Vietnam, although it was 30 years late.
Well, now he's a Vietnam era veteran.
Yeah. He's a Vietnam vet, not era.
Oh, yeah, now he's a Vietnam vet because he was there.
Yeah. But he, under any other circumstances, because all these news organizations sent, like an anchor over there to cover it. They would have had wall-to-wall coverage of what was going on in Hanoi, but with Michael Cohen, forget it. You didn't hear anything about the president in Hanoi.
Oh no, I watched him having dinner with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, well, but that was footage that they shot and they showed later. I'm saying that there was virtually for, I guess. The thing today lasted almost 8 hours.
Yeah.
And in those 8 hours, you never heard a word. They even broke at times, and they didn't even go to the Hanoi story.
Now they're staying at that Sofitel, and then Kim Jong-un said that he didn't want the American news people staying in the same hotel, and they had to move them, or they did move.
I don't know about it.
Did that limit the exposure?
Haven't been paying. No, I don't think so. I mean, people are not going to be sent to Hanoi by their news organizations to go there and say, "Well, I'm pissed off at Kim Jong-un, so we're just not going to report it."
Well, I noticed at the dinner they had some conversation. Then what happened was they allowed them to take a ton of pictures, and then at one point they said that's enough, and they ushered them all out.
Yeah. So
Kim Jong-un said, if they don't get out fast enough, I'll execute them.
Yeah. And Trump thought that was being a good leader.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, Richard.
Yeah. I read about that Hanoi meeting and Trump and Kim Jong-un on Norwegian website, and it said there that there was 5 points that they agreed to do. And I had a friend over, and we were reading it, and we said if that's gonna be if he gonna make those real, if he, you know,
yeah,
it's he's done something. But I don't know if it's true or not. I can't remember all of them. But
all we know is that the last time,
there was
Richard,
a declaration to the end of the war, which is mostly ceremonial, but it starts a conversation.
Well, the war has never the Korean War has never really ended. It was a truce,
right.
And so you know, to say, okay, well, let's just bring the war. Let's bring the war to an end and say the war is over is perhaps a positive move in the right direction. You know, it's an inevitability and something Kim Jong-un can sign, and it doesn't bother him because he's still got his country. You know.
You know what the biggest difference between this negotiation and negotiations that have taken place previously with not only not Kim Jong-un, but his father and his grandfather, is that this is a top-down negotiation where you have the leaders doing the negotiation rather than
well, they haven't negotiated anything.
Having other people go in, talk, you know, the underlings talk, try to put something together, and then the leaders go in and sign the papers. So that hadn't worked for the last 65 years.
Well, that's what they're doing now. What do you think Pompeo was doing? That? No, we've had a guy in Pyongyang for the last, I guess, 6 to 8 weeks negotiating with them.
Yeah. I think the actual
Phil, there is actually somebody doing the negotiating that went there as a front man ahead of time to get some kind of agreement that and supposedly he had a hard time. Kim Jong-un wouldn't even meet with him.
Right, because it's a dialogue between leaders. So what it is it's a top down.
Don't pretend like Donald Trump is this great leader. I got to tell you, he's not going to get anything done on this trip. But he's going to come back and tell you that it was a wonderful thing, and we got lots of stuff. The last time he said that, we got nothing.
Yeah, how about 15 months of no nuclear tests?
How about 15 months of more nuclear fission building?
Hey, you know,
listen, he doesn't have to test it. He doesn't have to test it. He knows it blows up. What he needs is the fissionable material, and he's still making that.
And he had stopped doing the tests for months before.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, he had, Phil. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there hasn't been any tests, and that was one of the agreements.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, no tests, but you can still get more fissionable material.
The guy has nuclear arms. What are you going to do? The guy already has them.
Well, he doesn't have those. He has nuclear arms, however.
Nukes.
Huh?
Nukes.
Yeah, but no, Phil, I got to tell you, nothing came out of that. You know, it was nothing but we're going to try to agree. Nothing came out, Phil. Why don't you admit it?
I'll tell you what.
This guy is a piece of shit.
A second summit came out of this, and they're still talking. You cannot expect that after 65 years of adversarial relationship. It's because
Kim Jong-un wanted to ride his choo-choo.
Now, after 65 years of an adversarial relationship where Obama even said that the biggest threat to the United States is North Korea and nuclear arms, Donald Trump is addressing this. He's having conversation, and they're negotiating in a positive way.
He said that we had no more nuclear threat from North Korea, and that is bullshit.
Well, because the way people were talking prior to the first summit, everybody had their finger on the button.
Phil, that's ridiculous. Not everybody had their finger on the button. Even North Korea isn't stupid enough to think that they should fire a missile at the United States because they would be ash within 15 minutes.
Well, I have news for you. North Korea, if they got bombed with a nuclear weapon, that would be an improvement. Maybe they'd have light. Do you know that? Well,
no, the joke, Phil, is they'd be bombed back to the Stone Age, which would put them 5 years ahead of where they are right now.
Okay, yes, good joke. Okay. Well, yeah, it's just that when they look at North Korea from a satellite and they see South Korea, it's all lit up and things are happening. North Korea is black. There's only one city, Phnom Penh, I think, that has any.
What did you call the capital of?
Pyongyang.
Yeah. Ping pong, yang.
Pyongyang.
Yeah.
Kevin, what do you think?
I think exactly what Phil doesn't.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but I don't expect anything to come out of it except that he's going to show off his car again, and that's about it.
Yeah. By the way, here's something that interesting about Kim Jong-un. He smokes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were showing all that side stuff last night.
Yeah, he smokes, and here's the best part.
Davidoff cigarette.
He has a cigarette, and his ashtray, which is a silver ashtray, crystal ashtray.
Yeah,
is being carried by his sister.
Yeah. Take my butt.
And did you know that he was also one of the world's largest consumer or buyer importer of Hennessy cognac?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read that. He's one of the
His people are starving, and he's drinking Hennessy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And smoking the cigarettes he's smoking is
and this is the guy that Trump's going to make nice with.
Strictly
he might be buying a lot of American cigarettes.
What?
No, he smokes. Is Davidoff American?
What is it?
I don't know.
No, it's European.
What is it?
Davidoff.
I never heard of
Davidoff is Russian, I think.
No, it's not Russian. That's Romanov.
Davidoff
is Swiss, I think.
Swiss.
I think it's Swiss. It could be English too, because Dunhill is English.
Yeah, but Davidoff, I think, you could be right about Swiss, or are you sure it's not France?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't smoke, so.
But me neither anymore. But he smokes those, and those are expensive.
Yeah.
Well, smoke away, Kim.
So did anybody hear anybody watch Michael Cohen's testimony today?
I watched
all day long.
Okay, so let's start getting an opinion of it. Kevin, let's start with you.
I personally thought, well, I didn't know how to take it. I took it up for a grain of salt. He's a convicted criminal trying to go straight. I guess,
trying to lessen
he's Michael Cohen. He's Michael Cohen, but I thought that the circus was pretty funny. When you were watching it, it was like a tennis ball going in a tennis court. You had the Republicans telling him he's a fucking liar, and then they go back over the Democrat side, and they're saying, "Oh, it's very nice that you're here. What else did he do?" And then you go back to the Republican side, and you're a fucking liar.
The
and then you go back to the other side.
Republicans didn't ask him any questions.
No, they could have taken the advantage. They could have taken the advantage there, and they didn't use it. To their advantage. They did no defending of Trump at all.
And
except to say that he was a fucking liar.
And when he would try to speak, they would just filibuster him and wouldn't let him speak, which I thought was terribly rude.
Because when he did answer a question, he said there was no collusion that he knew of, and that
he knew of.
He said he didn't
Trump
know,
never
he didn't say
specifically
there was
asked
no
him to lie, and basically his testimony.
No, he said that. He said that Trump.
was all about
did you say
nothing.
Trump didn't specifically ask him to lie?
Right.
He said quite the opposite. Phil, you must have been watching the same hearings that I was. You must be watching.
He said that the way Trump asks for things is, he says, we're not in Russia, right? And so he asks in a way that he's not asking, but
he's asking. But he's asking
as an
yes. Okay. Okay.
How about signing those little checks?
Well, that there's no there's nothing in the memo that says cover up Stormy Daniels. It could have been he gave him 11 checks. He pays him every month $35,000 to retain him as a lawyer.
And that's the defense they're going to take, and they're going to say that they built a company just to make that transaction happen. They started that company just for that. So, that's a cover up. But
not necessarily.
I found that Michael Cohen was trying to be honest. And even when they asked him, are you going to make a movie? He said, yeah. Are you going to try and,
write a book?
He said, yeah. He didn't hide
because his financial life is over.
Right.
It is.
But he's going to try and do something. And what does he have other than to write a book or to allow a movie to be made?
He's pretty much honest about it.
He could make a porno film.
Shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought what did you think, Charles, as you listened to him today?
I thought he was credible. I disagree with the Republicans that kept saying you've lied before. Why should we believe us? Why should we believe you now? And the obvious reason is he had a reason to lie before. He was being paid by Trump to lie before. He's not being paid by Trump to lie anymore, so he doesn't have any reason to lie.
He was told by Trump not to lie.
No, he wasn't told by Trump not to lie. He never said Trump said that. Trump simply intimated that he should say certain things, but didn't tell
the code.
He knew the code.
Don't be a rat. What does that mean? Don't be a rat. That means don't say anything. Don't tell on me.
See, everything that he said
that's
was actual mob-like. And everything that he said was the code of the mob and the way that they talk and the way that they work.
It's the way they talk in Queens.
Yeah.
And that's the way he's always been.
Well, it's because Trump has always been a mobster. He's always been in with the mob. I mean, why in the world did you have Roy Cohn as a lawyer unless you were a mobster? That's who he represented.
Hey,
look at the way that painting was set up. The way that painting was sold and set up.
I was a straw man. I was a straw man once for a painting at an auction. I was dating a girl who was very wealthy.
Isn't the same thing, Phil?
And and she had me go in and bid on a painting so that somebody wouldn't bid her up, and then she ended up paying for it. So
did you get on the internet and boast about it?
No, there was no internet back then. It was in the 70s.
Okay, well,
but
get in the newspaper and boast about it.
No, nothing. But I mean, you send somebody in. I mean, if Trump was bidding on it himself, don't you think somebody would have bid him up? And said, oh, if Trump wants it, we'll just keep bidding until he and then stick him with it. So I mean, that was a reasonable thing. I was in the same position.
But how about the money coming from the Trump Trust?
That's it.
Well, that's okay.
No, it's not okay, Phil. How's that a charitable contribution?
Because the money went to a charitable cause, wasn't it?
No,
it came from.
It came from a charitable cause.
What was the auction for? What were they raising money?
They weren't raising money for anything. The guy was selling his paintings.
It was going to his pocket.
To buy the painting.
It was going to his pocket.
I thought it was a charity auction.
No, it wasn't.
It was like the United Way was paying for it.
Oh, I thought it was a charity auction.
No.
And
if they weren't misusing the Trump Trust funds inappropriately, why did Trump finally fold the Trump Trust rather than have the city of New York sue him.
New York Southern District made them do it.
Well, he had to do it.
There were other pieces of art in that auction, and Trump just wanted his picture to go for the highest price.
2 pictures.
Yeah. No, there was
2.
I think it was
2
3.
of them. 2 of them.
But maybe there were also other things in that auction that was
they didn't.
They bought
money. He told Michael Cohen to go buy the picture and to bid it up so that it would go for more than it would have gone for.
Was Michael Cohen the straw man?
Yes.
Okay, because I thought it was
he was told by Trump, go down there, bid on my painting, and drive the price up. And then buy it at that driven up price so that it goes for more money than any other piece of art at that auction.
Right. But then he got stuck with it. He probably, he won the bid, and then Trump had to reimburse him to take.
No, he told him to buy it.
No. He paid for it out of the Trump fund.
After the guy bid it up for anything for the picture.
And then he took the picture, and rather than say put it in the headquarters of the Trump Trust, of which there wasn't one, it was the closet at Trump Tower, they put it in Mar-a-Lago.
Right, and then got onto Twitter and said, "Oh, look, this is the painting. It went for $60,000. Isn't that great? It was the greatest thing in that auction."
I don't think it was 60. I think it was something like 20,000.
Yeah, it was 60.
Was it 60?
Oh no, it was 60 or 80. Yeah, it was up there.
60.
Yeah,
and he was boasting.
But he
about
was
it.
asked to drive
the.
He was asked to ask Cohen to drive the price up so it would sell for more than any other painting.
It was
at
probably
that auction.
supposed to go for 20.
You know that oil I bid on, I got it for $5,000, and $5,000 in 1977 is probably more like $50,000 today. You know
what?
Yeah. That oil painting that I was a straw man for. My bid was $5,000.
Yeah.
And the $5,000 in 1977.
That's a lot.
It's probably a lot more today.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, but you paid for it.
No, I didn't pay for it. She paid for it.
She paid for it. Yeah, but it wasn't out of a charity fund.
No.
So totally different.
It was out of a trust fund.
Yes, Jeff.
I was very surprised that everybody was talking about whether he was lying or not lying. Was he telling the truth? Is this what really happened with Trump? Who's the right guy information we should get about? So who are the people we should call next time? Which just all that stuff makes sense. But nobody ever, and they always kind of looked at him like, oh, geez, I'm sorry that you lost your job and that you're going to prison. And I'm sorry about that too. But the reality is, this guy must have been brought in $50 million or something on his job. He must have brought in
the medallions that he was trying to finance and buy for $20 million. He said were worth $45 million. The taxi medallions. That's one of the things that they got him for. He committed some sort of bank fraud, trying to use his home equity line or something to.
Yeah, and I noticed they were talking about that, but nobody ever said, how much did Trump pay you?
At least $35,000 a month. That's what the checks were.
I would have asked that question, and I can't believe.
Yeah, they didn't. That's true. Yeah. I don't know what they were paying him, but they sure ground him on the fact that they said they kept pounding him on the reason that he was doing this was because he was mad that he didn't get a job at the White House.
Well, the other thing,
he couldn't care less about that.
There was this.
No,
one
he didn't want one. The White House have no client attorney privilege.
The only
and with all that he was getting, who cares? Why would you want a job?
He didn't want a job at the White House. He just wanted to be Trump's attorney, like he had been in the past.
And that's what he was.
Because then he could say he was the attorney for the president.
How much was his attorney-client privilege worth after they busted him? I mean, he's not pulling anything about attorney-client privilege.
And there were a couple times he really fucked up.
You know,
I think he kind of fucked up when he said he'd turn over all those
this guy's has always been a shithead. For once in his life, he's doing something decent. I think that you should praise him for that.
He's trying to save his ass. That's what he's trying to do.
No, he knows he can't. He said it. He doesn't think he can save his ass.
Yeah, he said he's just hoping that they'll go easier on him.
No.
They could definitely go harder on him if he doesn't cooperate.
No, he turned around and said, and they all said that this was not going to make anything any easier in this hearing.
No, he said if you offered, you know, he said he wouldn't take a pardon from Trump, but he did say if giving his testimony would lessen his prison sentence, he would, you know, he'd be happy about that.
Wouldn't you? But that's not the case.
But that's not the case. He hasn't been promised that by anybody.
That this had nothing to do with what he was going through already.
What I loved was that one goofball, that one, you know, a lot of these senators, especially the Republicans, like to show how tough they are, you know.
Oh yeah,
and the guy who said to him, I've met Donald Trump at the White House, and he's a pretty nice guy. And Cohn said to him, "Well, you only met him once. I spent 10 years with him. Okay, I think I know him. I think I know him better than you do."
They marched a black woman in that she was up behind the senator, or behind the congressman. And she said that she had worked and was hired first by Cohen for the Trump organization and has been working for the Trump organization, I think, 10 years. Mm-hmm. And she said that she would never work for a racist and that Donald Trump had never had a hint of racism in anything or any dealing that she'd ever observed. She was there for 10 years.
That's obvious that he has a hint of racism.
I thought that was
only the media.
Then you had that one congresswoman who said she found that shameful that woman was dragged in front of the committee.
She was a pawn.
She was a pawn.
No more shameful than Ford, Blasé Ford, being dragged in front of that committee. But you know,
what aboutism, Phil?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I enjoy it.
Just wanted to make sure it was toxic. What aboutism?
That was a testimony. That wasn't a pawn.
Oh, this is a testimony also.
Yeah. Yes, Richard.
Yeah, I can't help noticing that there's always one or two, maybe three whataboutism on the
What's
show.
Wrong with it?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I kind of like it.
Yeah, me too.
What I find objectionable about whataboutisms is they don't have anything to do really with the discussion you're having, but what they do is they sidetrack them. They sidetrack them.
Yeah, I know what you mean about it.
Alex, you attack the Republicans for doing the sort of the same thing that the Democrats did during the Kavanaugh hearings. So, you know, it's like whoever's in charge seems to take those positions. I think that's what they call the swamp.
Well, yes, Jeff.
One of the things that my wife mentioned today, she goes, how come that all of these Republicans could have asked all of these questions for the last 2 years? Why didn't they ask any questions themselves?
Because they weren't going after Trump. You know?
Well, I think that just because you're a Republican doesn't, well, you know, here's what I find objectionable about the Republicans right now. Just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you have to be an apologist for Trump. And they're all toadies. They're all toadies and apologists for Trump.
But they're apologizing for him when he did do something
like
wrong.
Today, when they had a chance to sit there and cross-examine Cohn, instead they just sat there, attack. They never really got in any substantive issues with him.
They didn't learn anything from him in their direction.
Yeah, Richard with his hand.
Yes.
About Trump, I have a story about Trump, which I'm not sure are true or not.
Was he in the bar with
That's
you?
what I was saying. Is he the guy in the bar?
No, he was not. He was in the head of NATO. It's a Norwegian guy now.
Yeah.
A former prime minister of Norway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the story goes. He told it, the Norwegian former prime minister, that Trump went over to say hello to him, shake his hand, and say they hadn't met before.
Mm-hmm.
So and Trump apparently went over and shook his hand, and before the Norwegian guy minister said something, Trump said, "Oh, well, hello." His name is Jens. Mm-hmm. So he went, "Hello, Jens. It's nice to meet you. Finally, I hear you I know, and I hear you're one of my greatest fans." And then he just went away.
He thought his name was Pence, not Jens.
Oh, really?
The vice president.
Yeah, Pence. Yeah.
No, he wouldn't confuse somebody with the guy who sucks his dick.
Hey, I know you want to talk about Cohen. I just didn't think there was a lot of substance there. There was one other story that I'd like to talk about tonight, which was the guy from Univision that was in Venezuela and he got arrested by Maduro's guards, and they took all their phones and the video because they filmed the people in Venezuela eating out of a garbage truck trying to get food. And then there was some stories about they couldn't afford medicine. That's a boy died because he couldn't get antibiotics, and that some other medicine was going to be $30, and people only make $5. I don't know if it's a day or a month there. So
a day, probably a day.
Yeah. Yeah. So what had happened was the American consulate. Because this guy from Univision actually lives in America, and I guess he's got a green card, or he might be a citizen. The American consulate got him out, and he was very thankful for that. But he wouldn't at that point just say I'm thankful to Trump, but he said, he wasn't as negative as he usually is, and he was on Fox talking to Hannity. Did you see that clip, Alex?
No, because I don't watch Hannity.
Well, oh, you mean you might learn something?
From Hannity.
Well, no, I already know all I need to know about Hannity. It's the biggest piece of shit I've ever had to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this Maduro thing in Venezuela. I mean, it's interesting what's going on there. I mean, I don't know why Maduro won't allow the Americans to give food and aid.
Because Maduro is just like Trump. He's a prick.
Yeah. Well, it's Trump that's trying to send the food.
Is it Trump? Is it Trump who's trying to send the food, or the American
it's the United
people?
States.
The United States. Yeah.
That's Trump.
Trump wants the oil.
Yes, that's.
He wouldn't give a shit about any country that doesn't have oil.
Yeah.
Don't we have enough to sustain us?
Not really. No.
Do you sell anything out in the States? Oil? Do you export?
Actually,
I don't know.
The major place we get oil from, oddly enough, is Canada.
Yeah.
Well, the pipeline runs through from Canada, and then it goes out somewhere else. I don't even think that oil that comes down through those two pipelines come into the States.
Yes, it does.
Crossing it.
It's going all the way down to going all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico.
Somewhere else.
Canada.
Huh?
Yeah.
So Norway is a major oil country. So.
Oh well, then we'll have to attack you sometime soon. We'll have to attack you sometime soon.
Yeah. Trump will be over for your oil soon.
Yeah, he would. But I'm too scary. Look at me. He won't get. He won't get.
Oh boy. Yeah. So But I don't know. I've been. Marjorie has finally gotten to the point where she doesn't really want to watch the television news again. You know how we had a boycott of it a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And she's back there again now. She doesn't
It was
really
a personal boycott.
What channel is that?
Well, no, it wasn't any channel. It was just we didn't want to watch cable news because it's so vapid. It's terrible. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, you find the channel that agrees with your political opinion, and that's what you watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Yeah,
and there's no place to go for even balanced news. They want to tell you that they're balanced or whatever, but they're not. You know, they're one way or the other.
So what do you watch, Alex? Do you watch anything at all?
Well, I will watch.
You watch BBC, right?
I will.
BBC?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the trouble I have with BBC is, at least when I'm in the prime time to watch it for me, which is in the mornings, they're running these little half-hour programs that are like interview programs, and I'd like to see them doing the news, okay?
Yes.
So that's my problem with BBC. CNN is a little more even-handed, but MSNBC is so one-sided that while
CNN,
but while MSNBC is one-sided on my side, I get a little bothered by their non-impartiality. I would have liked, for instance, today, when they were doing the wrap-ups on the Michael Cohen hearings, to have somebody there who disagreed with them. You know, and it was all nothing but people.
Critical thinking.
Huh?
Well, that's exactly why I sent you that email.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Jeff, what did you say, Jeff?
I said that CNN doesn't have enough critical thinking.
Yeah, they don't have that. But MSNBC doesn't either. Yes, Kevin, what was that thing you sent me? What happened?
Well, it was just I was trying to get a different view, so I jumped over to Fox, and I watched the yo-yos on 5. And I watched the yo-yos on 5, but you know, it's the exact opposite. You know, because I watch MSNBC a lot, but then I get tired of their normal bullshit. You know, you get saturated with that.
Well,
and so I go over to Fox and I watch them and I get saturated with that. But it was pretty entertaining today because what I was trying to tell you was the exact opposite of Gabnet. I was going, Jesus Christ, there's 3 Phils and one of us. But it was funny because poor Juan was trying to make a point and everybody was piling on him. And I thought it was a train wreck, but it was fun to watch.
That guy,
but then
Greg
you go
Gutfield.
back over to MSNBC, and they're all sitting around there hoity-toiting themselves, and it gets sickening after a while. So you go to CNN, and you try and level it all out, and then you're right. It's saturated one way or the other, and it gets old after a while.
Well, you would like to get a nice.
I'd like to sit on one channel.
I mean, what do we have here? I mean, we have Phil, and sometimes we have
SG.
Well, I can't stand him. But and I can't stand him because he interrupts the show. In other words, last night when he put the Trumpy bear in front of the screen and stuff, you know, come on, we're trying to have a discussion. Don't try to hog.
No, I can wait. Don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Didn't you say something to me?
No.
We're talking about another guy,
and you know, he just disrupts the show, and his microphone isn't working, or he can't log on. And, you know, on the other hand, you know, I love Patrick, you know, and he's a right winger. But here, when we have 2 right-wingers on and we got the rest of us here, it's not exactly even, but it's, you know, it's at least more even than any of those networks are. And that's the way I think it should be. I want to hear, I even like the Bill Maher show because at least he has on one conservative on every panel that he puts up there. So that there's a different opinion being thrown into the mix.
So how do you like me then, being new on the show?
Who?
Oh, I'm glad you're here because I'm not going to be here for about 2 weeks, and so.
Really?
What do you mean you're not going
to get a love fest?
When are you not going to be here for 2 weeks?
I have a 7 a.m. flight on Friday to the Bahamas, and I have to get up. I still pack a few things on Thursday, so there's going to be no Phil Thursday, and then I'm going to be on a boat in the ocean for 8 days of actual on the boat, and there's no internet. There's a satellite phone, but it's not mine. There's no internet. There's no cellular. There's nothing.
So we won't have you for 2 weeks starting when? This Thursday?
Yeah. So I'll be back on the 12th of March.
So you think that you're thinking that I can take over for your place?
I hope so. Yeah. Just do the conservative thing. You become a Republican for a few weeks.
Well, folks, this is the time for you to then think. So this is your last night.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I hope it isn't my last night because I'm going to be diving with tiger sharks. Oh. It might be my last night. No cage.
Trump might be gone when you get back.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
But maybe we pull into a port or here or there, and I might be able to get some cell service. But I'll call if I can.
Yeah. Well, if you can, but otherwise, everybody, the coast is clear.
It's clear. Yeah.
The coast is clear. You can all call now.
I just want to say one thing. As my opinion, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind, and I believe that everybody here is right, and that. You know how all roads lead to Rome?
Well, I would like to say that
some ways are a different way to get there.
I would agree with you that I like to think that all the people here are right, but you aren't. So,
Well, that just shows me the level of your, your
Richard.
Yeah.
Okay, Richard.
You say that everybody's right and everything.
I think we all want.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, and I think it's very, it's extraordinarily nice, and it's a thrill to be together and talk about it.
Yeah.
But
I don't believe that anybody here doesn't want the best for this country or the world. And I know I do.
Yeah,
I just think that my way of getting there is better than somebody else's way, but it's all the same.
I can see that.
Want the same thing.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But I want to ask Alex. You asked about the other guys, and how do you like me being new on the show? How do you like me coming on?
Oh, I think it's fine. I always like new blood on the show.
Yeah. But you find.
I think you're just fine.
Okay.
And so please keep calling. We love having you here.
I will.
And it's nice to have somebody from another country too.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Bree. He calls from Dubai every now and then.
Bree. Yeah, from Dubai.
But we certainly.
Yesterday I was actually calling Jack Bishop also.
Huh? Yeah.
Jack Bishop.
Oh, yeah.
You're a long-time friend.
Bree just said, having Phil makes the show good.
Thank you, Bree.
No, it balances it out. I mean, I've defended Phil's existence on this program many a time to people who go, "Oh, why do you have him on? I can't stand him." Blah 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 blah. And I go, I mean, he's got an opinion, and he's respectful. And I disagree with him. I can't believe that he's that horrible a person politically, but
But he's he has a right and he has a right to an opinion.
Well, I'm glad you let us know tonight, Phil, because otherwise I would have wondered. I would have thought you were like
we've been calling
like Mike Allen,
Mike Allen,
But Alex, as I said, I called Jack Bishop yesterday.
Yeah.
After your show.
Yeah.
The intersection.
Yeah. Right.
And your old friend. Your old buddy from this, he told me.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off from the first second. I didn't know what kind of show it was, actually.
Yeah.
I never called before.
Neither does Jack.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, but anyway, there was only one guy. I don't know if there was a Jack and a guy, another guy sitting and smoking.
the coughing guy.
That was Mike.
Yeah,
Mike Allen.
I don't know. Is he a caller or?
Yeah, he's a caller.
Okay. He didn't say much. So me and Jack were talking, and all of a sudden we just like he's a major Rolling Stones fan, and I am too. And we got into records, and all of a sudden we've been talking like running out of time, and he said, "Hey, man, call me as much as you can." And I said, "Yeah," and it was almost like he's in Texas, right?
Yeah.
So it was almost like we especially about the records and all. It was like, hey. I would say I'm on the next plane. I'll see you soon.
Hey, Alex,
he was a real nice guy.
Yeah, Phil.
Alex has got this. Since you like vinyl, Alex has got this record, which is a wax pressing of the Who, Tommy.
It's not a wax pressing. It's a test pressing.
Test pressing.
Test pressing of Tommy.
Yeah, he wanted to sell it, and then they nobody would.
They couldn't. The people the people I tried to sell it to had no idea what it was worth.
But what does it look like? Is it a vinyl test
It's
pressing?
a vinyl test pressing. It has no label on it. It has a white label, and it just says Tommy. I don't even know if there's anything written on the white label, but there is a sheet of paper that came with it that it said Tommy and opera, and then they had done a caret thing and put in the word rock, and then all the songs were listed. So it was a test pressing for the Who before it was ever released.
Does it got a sticker on it? It's like not for sale or
no,
like
it doesn't
it's
say
not a
that.
radio station
This was a test pressing. It was the kind of thing they do.
But is it what kind of package is it in?
It's no package, just sleeves.
Just sleeves.
Yeah, and it was this was what was put together before they ever released the album. They did a test pressing to test the.
Yeah, I know about it. I had my father educated me from I was 2 years old.
So consequently, I brought somebody in, and they couldn't figure out what it was worth. So I just wouldn't give it to them.
But do you still have it?
Yeah.
What's the price if you want to sell it?
I have no idea. I have no idea what to sell it for. It's in California. But
maybe I'll check it out and see if I can find it and online some price of it.
I don't know if you can find any place online where there is a test pressing of the Who.
Maybe not.
Maybe there's other test pressings that have sold from other albums. And that may have as much gravitas as Tommy or less.
No, I think nothing would have more gravitas than Tommy. I mean that was probably the quintessential Who album. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's their best album, but it is the quintessential Who album.
Far from the best.
Yeah, but it is their quintessential album.
Yeah,
it's the one that everybody has in their library.
But if you compare Tommy to Quarterfinia is far better. Yeah. So that's a great one.
Yeah.
Quarterfinia.
But they weren't my favorite. My favorite group back then were the Kinks. I love the Kinks.
Oh, I like the Kinks. I like the Kinks too. I have all those groups. My father, actually, I think I was Jack Bishop. He asked me. No, he told me first. I didn't heard Robert Johnson before I was 25.
Yeah.
So I said. I heard him about. I think I was maybe 5.
Robert Johnson. Wow.
Robert Johnson, the early blues guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never developed a taste back in the day for like Jethro Tull or things like that, but I really like it now. You know,
what kind of bands?
I didn't like Jethro Tull then, and I don't like Jethro Tull now.
You know, and I like the Eagles. You know, I mean,
I never liked the Eagles.
I saw Jethro Tull last year.
Yeah, but I never liked the Eagles. I don't know why. I mean, their songs were okay, but I was never crazy about them.
Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh is great.
Yeah, but I think he's better solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He adds a lot to the group, though.
But
I saw him in person.
I'm a Stones guy, and I had to please my father.
Yeah.
Lydia, have you seen Lydia? Lydia the tattooed lady.
And my teenage riot. Everybody has a teenage riot against the parents, right? So I was planning. My father had all these records, and even more now, and all people was coming and going, and So he kept talking about Stones being and Keith Richards being the greatest guy in the rock business, and all that, and some other bands. And I thought I gotta find a band that really pisses him off. So I found Dirty Deeds on the Cheap, AC/DC.
Yeah, AC/DC, yeah.
Yeah, with Bon Scott era.
Yeah.
And I put that on, and I think I was not old enough to drink, but I was like 16, but I had I heard 2 songs. I went straight to the store and I bought a case of beer, and we played it as a record. And I played it for my father, and he said, yes, okay, and I said, yeah, okay, I'm pissing him off here. So I get more AC/DC records, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I came to I don't know if you're familiar with the Bon Scott era. Yeah. So I came to Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
The last one before Back in Black. I played it as loud as I could, and I asked him, and said, I really like this. It's much better than the Stones. And
but my question is, who modern day do you listen to?
Actually, I'm going to finish by saying that I actually, after saying that, it was like a month later. Mm-hmm. I was in the living. I was living at home. I went in the living room where my father has the whole roll of collection,
mm-hmm.
and up on the top of the shelf was a box, a black box with the AC/DC logo on, and the complete AC/DC collector's edition.
Wow!
And I said to myself, okay, there goes that riot.
Anyway, I got to play the theme song because we're running out of time here. Phil, I guess we won't see you for a couple of weeks. Don't drown.
Yeah, well, don't get eaten by a shark.
Don't get eaten by a shark, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, the coast is clear, everybody.
Yeah, the liberals can come out of their
holes. We can just trash Trump, and the Patrick would then call, and
Well, he's not a Trump supporter.
Patrick doesn't like.
He doesn't like Trump either. Yeah, and he's a conservative. Hey, listen, everybody. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate it. Phil, thank you. Thank you to Kevin. Thank you very much, Richard. We enjoy having you as our newest addition to our group. And Jeff Stein, Jeff, thank you so much. Why don't all of you give a big wave goodbye, and I will wave back. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay, there they go. All right, that's our panel, and we'll miss Phil. We really will. And so you guys are going to have to take up the slack, okay? All right? Okay. Anyway, that's it for tonight. That's it for our citizen panel. They will be back again tomorrow night with hopefully a whole passel of people, sans fill. Meanwhile, stay tuned for The Intersection, which is next with Jack Bishop. I'll be back again tomorrow night. I don't know if Damien's going to be on tomorrow night or not. We're still trying to solve his problems, but I'll be on tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.